shuffling the contents around, moving the junk mail aside, touching the items he had brought with him for reassurance. The electric stun gun he'd bought on one of his rare holidays outside of Britain, the dishwashing liquid bottle that contained chloroform, a clean flannel, a roll of heavy-duty tape, and a thin blanket. He would need them all, soon, very soon. Only a few steps to the front door now, and he could sense the woman inside, could taste and smell her. The architecture of the soulless house meant that once he had reached the front door, he could not be seen from the street, and nor could Louise Russell's red Ford Fiesta. He held his hand up to ring the doorbell, but paused to steady himself before pressing the button attached to the doorframe, in case he needed to persuade her to open the door to him. After what felt like hours, he finally pressed it and waited, until a jerky shadow moved from the bowels of the house toward the front door. He stared at the opaque glass window in the door as the shadow took on color, and the door began to open without hesitation or caution. He hadn't had to speak after all. Now at last she was standing in front of him, with nothing between the two of them. Nothing that could keep them apart any longer. He stood silently, in awe of her. It felt as if her clear, shining green eyes were pulling him forward, toward her glowing skin, her pretty feminine face. She was only a little smaller than he, about 5'6" and slim, with straight brown hair cut into what was nearly a bob. She was about the same age as he was, 28 years old. He began to tremble, but not with fear anymore, with joy. She smiled and spoke to him. "Hi, do you have something for me?" "I've come to take you home, Sam," he told her. "Just like I promised I would." Louise Russell smiled through her confusion. "I'm sorry," she said. "I don't think I understand." She saw his arm moving quickly toward her and tried to step back, away from the threatening-looking black box he held in his hand, but he stepped forward to match her stride. When the box touched her chest, it felt as if she'd been hit by a wrecking ball. Her feet left the ground as she catapulted backward and landed hard on the hallway floor. For a few blissful moments she remembered nothing, as her world turned to black, but unconsciousness spared her from reality all too briefly. When her eyes opened again, she somehow knew she hadn't been out for long, and that she was still unable to command her own movements, as her body remained in spasm, her teeth clenched together, preventing her from screaming or begging. But her eyes were her own, and they could see everything, as the man dressed like a postman busied himself around her prone body. His stained, buckled teeth repulsed her, as did the odor of his unwashed body. As his head passed close to her face, she could see and smell his short, unkempt brown hair, strands of which had stuck to his forehead with sweat. His skin was pale and unhealthy and appeared quite grey, marked with acne and chickenpox scars. His hands were bony and ugly, too long and thin, the skin almost transparent like an old person's. Long, dirty fingernails fidgeted at things he was taking from his post-bag. Everything about him made her want to turn from him, to push him away, but she was trapped in the unrelenting grip of whatever he'd touched her with, unable to do anything but watch the nightmare she was at the center of. And all the time he spoke to her using the name of another, as the pictures adorning the walls she knew so well stared down at her. Happy photographs of her with her husband, her family, her friends. How many times had she passed the pictures and not taken time to look? Now, paralyzed on the floor of her own home, her sanctuary, the same pictures mocked her from above. This couldn't be happening. Not here. Not in her home. "It'll be all right, Sam," he promised. "We'll get you home."